Files, no problem. We're the Disenfranchised podcast. That podcast all about those franchises of one, those films that fancy themselves full-fledged franchises before falling flat on their face after the first film. I am your host, Stephen Foxworthy, and joining me today, a very special treat, we have the nation's foremost Groucho Marx impressionist. It's Brett Wright. Hey, Brett.
Hello, Stephen.
How we doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing all right. You know, it's funny that you make that reference because anybody that watched the movie don't get it.
Correct.
Hey,
That's
Groucho
how you know I
shows up a
did
few
my
times
research.
in the movie. There's the photo, and then there's the poster.
The duck suit poster. Yeah, but it's, the character of Groucho.
Yeah.
Well, and I found out about the Groucho character after I watched the movie.
Right.
So I didn't even clock those things because why would I?
Sure.
And we'll also be talking about Felix, so get ready for that.
Buckle up. And also joining me today, as always, my other co-host who has skin that's so soft, like a woman. What is he, a vegetarian or something? It's Tucker. Hey, Tucker.
Hi, Steven. How's it going?
It's going, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well this evening.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, it's good. It's all good. Everything's good.
And tonight we are talking about a movie, Demanded. I'd say Demanded. That's probably a bit too harsh. Requested.
That's a word reserved for me, I think.
I think so. Requested ad infinitum by one of our listeners, Mr. Norvin Klein. Norvin, this one is for you, gentlemen. Brett, let's go with you because we don't have you on as often as we used to. What movie are we talking about tonight?
We're talking about Dylan Dog, Dead of Night.
We are talking about the 2010/2011 Dylan Dog, Dead of Night, directed by Kevin Munro, written by, oh God, who wrote it? Thomas,
that other guy.
Thomas Dean Donnelly and Joshua Oppenheimer, based on the comic by Tiziano Sclavi, and starring Brandon Routh, Anita Bream, Sam Huntington, Taye Diggs, Kurt Angle. It's true. It's damn true.
It's damn true.
Peter Stormare. What a cast, gentlemen. What a picture.
Yeah.
Man, I was not expecting Kurt Angle in this movie. He was there.
It took me till the end of the movie to realize who that was. I was like, who is this guy? I know I've seen him in shit. It's wow. Kurt Angle.
Yeah, former Olympic gold medalist, former very popular professional wrestler, Kurt Angle.
I was on a series of message boards in my high school and college days where Kurt Angle was literally just a punchline. And it got to the point where you couldn't even mention Kurt Angle on the boards without getting a lifetime ban. It was pretty intense.
Damn. What they have against Kurt Angle? The man is an American hero.
I don't think it was Kurt Angle specifically so much as the trolls who were doing the Kurt Angle bit. And then like anyone who even like someone could innocently go on and just ask, hey, who's Kurt Angle? And they would get banned. Like it was a whole fucking thing. I don't know half of it. I was not involved in it. Some people I know were, but that's about as far as it went. So yeah.
Okay.
Word.
Sure.
But yeah, there you go.
He was a little bit past my time. He was around near the end of when I originally stopped watching wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew of him in his early days in the WWE. Still F at the time, I believe. But yeah.
There you go. Yeah. This is a kind of a companion episode, I guess, to our episode from last year on the 90s film Cemetery Man in a very bizarre kind of way.
Yeah, supplies.
Who'd have
supplies?
Thunk it? Not me.
And they come out of the closet, but it's Cooney and his karate class.
It's only a little racist, but
it's wholesome racist. There's a difference.
Well, no, if that's You know what? I'm not going to acknowledge it. Let's just move on.
This is why we can't have nice things, Tucker. This right here is why we can't have nice things.
You guys, come on, it's fun.
Send your hate mail. Send your hate mail. Attention, Tucker, to disenfranchpod@gmail.com.
George Carlin would have approved, and that's kind of where I set my, moral barometer on that kind of stuff.
It's easy to say he would approve of something because he's dead.
I guess so.
Because he can't approve anything anymore.
No.
Because he's dead.
He has passed, yes, unfortunately.
Yeah. I had never heard of this author until last year when we were working on our Cemetery Man episode. And I think at the time we mentioned and kind of brought up Dylan Dog a little bit.
Mm-hmm. But it's hard not to.
This is an entire movie based on the character of Dylan Dog. Which I think is maybe the most ridiculous name for a character ever.
I like it. I think it's catchy. It's fun.
His last name is taken from an Italian quote, like for the Italian title of a novel. So but it loses a little something in translation, I think.
I don't know, man. Whenever I think of this movie, or whenever I think of the name Dylan Dog, it's sung to the tune of Fever Dog from Almost Famous. So in my head, it's always like, Dylan Dog.
I'm pretty sure you've brought that up before.
Probably.
It sounds like something you would do.
Peter Frampton wrote all those songs. All the, what's the band's name in that? Stillwater or something?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
Wrote all those songs. Yeah, Jason Lee.
Billy Crudup.
In that band, yeah.
Damn.
That was a good movie, but a little uncomfortable to watch these days when you think about the ages of some of those gals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you're that age, you don't think much of it. And that came out when I was young, like, a teenager or whatever.
Right.
But now watching it's kind of like,
yeah.
That even though we know it's period accurate.
The Tiny Dancer scene, though.
Yeah.
Blue Jean Baby, LA Lady. Seems just for the band.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude.
And what's his fucking name? He's in it. Oh gosh, what's his name?
Philip Seymour Hoffman?
No, well, yeah, he plays Lester Bangs.
Francis McDormand?
No, well, yes, but no.
Zooey Deschanel?
No, the dude from Freaks and Geeks. No, not Freaks and Geeks. The other one, Undeclared. The dude from Goon. The dude from Jay Baruchel. There it is. Jay Baruchel. That's you. If I do this, that's what I mean. So, if I flail my body wildly,
that see that to me says Kermit the Frog more than Jay Baruchel, but.
Kermit the Frog is if I leave stage left like with like my arms behind me. That's Kermit the Frog. Yeah, Jay Baruchel's in that movie. Wow, what a lot of time we wasted.
What a long walk to a really underwhelming payoff.
Jay Baruchel
we got there though. That's the most,
we got there, but at what cost, Brett? At what cost?
Right? We did not make any friends along the way, Brett.
No, fair enough, I guess.
So, gentlemen, I have very little exposure to this character, to this comic. I did some research. Not a lot of the original 300 issues have made it to have any kind of English translation at all. So I'd be hard pressed to read them, as that is the one language I speak well. But what are our collective, I guess, familiarities with this character? Brett, we'll start with you.
Literally zero. Yeah, I wish I had more to say, but
me too.
I only knew of.
Don't worry, boys, I gotcha.
We know. That's why I
from
started with Brett. Calm down.
from trailers and whatnot. And I mean, I thought it looked cool. I've definitely interfaced with characters like this.
Like
It's
such
right up
as
your alley, Brett. It's right up your alley.
Oh yeah, I mean, like this. There's a lot of parts of this movie that gives very strong.
Well, I'd say the premise, at least.
The premise, yeah, it gives very strong Dresden Files vibes.
Speaking of which, I'm going to go ahead and just read this straight up out of my Instagram feed because friend of the podcast, Norvin Klein, who asked for this episode so many times, actually
and
did
demanded
have...
that I be on it. He didn't message and say you
Yes.
have to be on that episode. So.
Look, I didn't make any promises for your sake because I didn't know how the scheduling was going to work out, but I'm glad we were able to get you down here. He said, I said, hey, we're recording Dylan Dog. What do you want me to ask? He's like, I don't know. And then he was like, oh, question for you to ask Brett. Ask him if he thinks the car Dylan Dog drives is paying tribute to Harry Dresden.
I mean, I don't know. It could. I think it definitely vibes that way.
For the audience who may not, and maybe your co-host who might not be familiar with Harry Dresden, describe both the car that Dylan drives in this movie and what car Harry Dresden drives in the Dresden Files.
Oh, buckle up, boys. So in the Dresden Files universe, Harry being a wizard, magic
You're
does
a wizard,
not.
Harry.
Yes, he makes that joke in the novels.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
At least I think he does. It's been a while since I read them. But magic does not play well with technology post World War II. So Harry drives a Volkswagen Beetle, which he refers to as the Beetle, and it's been, for as long as he's had it and been a wizard private investigator in Chicago, he has had to have it remodeled and repainted and parts replaced.
Is like the Beetle of Theseus at this point?
Kinda, yeah. Like a mold demon gets inside of the interior at one point, completely destroys it. But so it kind of is a mishmash of a bunch of different colors and different styles of door, and like it's very old school. And Harry has that for most of the series until things happen, and then he gets a Munster style like car.
Dragula?
Kinda. Yeah, a little bit like that. So yeah, the fact that Dylan drives a really old car for seemingly no apparent reason other than he likes older stuff.
I was gonna say, like, he seems to have, like our friend JP, like kind of the heart of an antiquarian, like just kind of loves old shit for its own sake.
Yeah.
Well, spoilers, he's really old.
Yeah, which was a lore question I had, but I imagined he is really
Dylan
old.
Dog is like 300 years old.
Oh wow, not a thing this movie goes
I don't know
into
that.
at all.
I don't know they ever mention it in this movie, which is so weird because like they kind of wrap certain parts of just maybe some of the production design and some of the character in that lore, but then they never specify. They never come out and say it. Like someone who knows that when you watch the movie, you'll see stuff like, "Oh yeah, because he's so old."
Right.
But
they
they
forget to tell you that,
like his affinity for the Marx Brothers.
Yeah, which is why I would say that it's probably not a Dresden Files reference, just because
Well, I don't
fits in with the character.
I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but he drives the same car in the comic, but the colors are swapped. Instead of black with a white top, it's white with a black top.
Okay. So yeah. Okay. So no, I mean, confirmed, not a Dresden Files reference. If anything, it's possible that Jim Butcher took that idea from Dylan Dog, the other way around.
Right. Okay.
But I don't know. It's tough to say. But like I said, this whole movie, this type of character and this type of world is definitely it's giving Dresden. very much, which is why I liked it. So,
Right on. Tucker, regale us.
So I saw Cemetery Man on HBO in the very early 2000s, and I liked that quite a bit. There wasn't much internet back then, but somehow or another, I found out that the author, uh, whose book that Cemetery Man was based on, was also the creator of a comic book called Dylan Dog. So it's always been something I've kind of been aware of since I saw Cemetery Man. And I always knew that the physical representation of Dylan Dog was meant to replicate Rupert Everett.
Right.
Now, when this movie came out, Dark Horse or Image, I think it was Dark Horse,
It's Dark Horse, yeah.
put out some English versions of some of the Dylan Dog comics.
Like 6 issues, I think they did.
They did a couple trades, man.
There's a
They
6-issue
did a couple
miniseries
trades,
and
I
a
feel
one
like.
shot. Is what I'm looking at the Wikipedia article right now.
Okay, well, they had at least one trade that put all that together. And I read through that a bit around the time this movie came out, and honestly, like, I didn't I appreciated it, but I think maybe the translation wasn't. It was probably accurate, but I don't think that whoever was translating really understood it enough to do more than just like a literal translation.
Mm-hmm.
And it really kind of shows.
Mm.
There's a lot of stuff. It's kind of like the subtitles in some of the older anime movies and stuff where you're like, what? Like, is that even a sentence? Like, what does that mean? Like, oh, your mic's off, Brett. Turn your mic on so we can hear you.
shut up.
There you go.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
like old school video games were like that. Just literal
Yeah,
translations, and they
absolutely.
didn't know how to translate the context.
All your base or
Yeah.
belong to us, etc.
Also, in the English versions, because they couldn't get the rights to the image of Groucho Marx, they took the mustache off of Groucho and named him Felix. So even the jokes that do translate don't actually make any sense unless you know that that's supposed to be Groucho Marx.
Mm.
So I'm sure the original comic is fantastic, but whatever that was that Dark Horse put out just was not. I just don't think it was a very good representation of the original art. You know what I mean?
Fair.
But I mean, you get a sense of it, and it's very much like the film Cemetery Man. The tone of that and sort of it's very surreal like that and very existential.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
This movie is
it's
not at all.
it's a lot like if you just mashed those two movies together, Cemetery Man and this movie, you mash them together, you get a pretty good Dylan Dog movie. Now, Francesco
Della Morte.
has his own book, which is, the Cemetery Man book, Della Morte, which was written by the same author, but was not intended to have anything to do with Dylan Dog. But they have crossed over a few times.
Right.
The
I read
character
that
has
as
shown
well.
up a few times in Dylan Dog. So that's a cool deal. So I was way into that, of course, because it was always something that I knew about but never really had any way to consume. So when they announced the Dylan Dog movie, I'm like, who else is asking for this? Like, I know I am, but who else is? Nobody? Okay, that tracks. Like,
Check my notes here. Not a soul. Okay.
I saw Dylan Dog at the movie theater. And I gotta say,
So you're the one.
I was the one. I was very underwhelmed at the time, but I appreciated some things about it. And you know, actually, the last time I saw this movie, Paul Dano played the Sam Huntington part. It's crazy. I was obviously in a different timeline, but I swear it used to be Paul Dano, you guys. I swear.
So this is, I mean, that would have been Paul Dano post There Will Be Blood, which feels very unlikely that he'd take a role like this post There Will Be Blood.
Well, it's funny you say that, Tucker, because I thought this was a different movie. Because there's another movie that's sitting in my brain that I thought this movie was that I'd seen, and I can't for like it. And maybe you guys can help me out because like I didn't
Tell me about it, Brett.
It's because I didn't Google it or anything, but so maybe you can help. So like, I think it had Paul Giamatti in it, and it also had what's his name, Frodo. Come on,
Elijah Wood.
Elijah Wood.
Elijah Wood. Yes, they were in it.
Elijah Wood. Okay.
And it's like this similar sort of universe with monsters and whatnot.
Fuck.
I've
Elijah
been doing
Wood.
that
I know
all
this because
day.
he was the gadget guy in that movie. He was the gadget guy. What was it? Steven, you're looking up.
Yeah, Steven, your Google flu has always been better than mine, so
I'm gonna look. You guys. Oh my god, I'm so mad I can't think of what this is.
Would it have been around the same time? I mean, Last Witch Hunter, Brett Eisner's Last Witch
That's
Hunter.
what it was.
No,
that's what it was. Elijah Wood is
not in there.
He's not. Vin Diesel is, but
yeah,
Elijah Wood plays his gadget guy. You know, all those movies that got a gadget guy.
And I could be misremembering Elijah Wood being in it. The only one that I really remember is Paul Giamatti.
Okay, so maybe I'm looking up the wrong person
here.
Future, we hope, Academy Award winner Paul Giamatti.
He'll get there.
I hope he gets
eventually.
There this year, man.
Eventually, he'll just get one by default, like they do sometimes. Where they're
You're
like,
not
"This wasn't
thinking
your best
of John
performance, but
dies
you
at the end,
it.
are you?
I might be thinking of John dies at the end. Yes, yes.
That's what's his nuts. Directed that. Fucking. Who directed that, Steven? You're looking at it right now.
I'm not looking at it right now. I'm trying to find it right now.
Why are you making me do this, Steven? I'm so mad at you.
I got
Don
it.
Coscarelli.
Yeah, Don Coscarelli. I just said that.
Yeah.
You did not.
Shout out to all the people that were screaming this at their device.
Phantasms, Don Coscarelli.
Bubba Hotep's Don Coscarelli.
Yo, in case you guys need them, Phantasm and Phantasm 2 and also Ravager are on my Vudu. The rest are streaming on one of your services.
I was going to say, I have never seen Phantasm 2 streaming anywhere, so that is good to know.
Well, bitch, I own it, so...
It is the only reason I have never done a complete Phantasm watch through, because I cannot fucking
Now you don't
Phantasm
have an excuse, dude. Get on that shit right now.
Well, now I've got too many other excuses, like, you know, life keeping me busy.
Boo.
I don't see Elijah Wood in this movie, but you know who I do see in John Dies at the End, Brett? Speaking of Phantasm, Angus Scrimm.
Yeah, dude. Tall man. He is in that movie.
Yeah, so I was right. I was imagining Elijah Wood in that movie, but I did remember Paul Giamatti, and I don't know why I got it confused with this film. But, you know, it's how my brain works sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
This has been such a weird episode of us randomly trying to remember shit.
Yeah.
Wowzers.
Welcome, everybody.
That's great. I love that.
This is riveting podcasting, I gotta tell you.
Hey, that's why people listen, right?
Right? God, I hope so.
Please, right?
Tucker, any other deep background lore on Dylan Dog and or the author Tiziano Sclavi?
That's all I know. I never researched it real hard. It was always just kind of over the years I came across bits and pieces. I was able to experience, like I said, the comic a bit when this movie came out. Probably not in the best way, but
right on.
And then, like I said, this movie's okay. There's some stuff I like about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, dudes.
Yeah.
Dudes. Yeah.
Dudes. Yeah.
Like, so they couldn't do the Groucho character, and one thing I like about it is it's a pretty creative solution. I like what they did with the sidekick character, especially with this kind of world, of monsters and stuff, to have him be kind of one of those 80s comedy zombies that can talk, and stuff keeps
Right.
falling off and you got to put it back on. It was nice. I liked it. I like that part a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
One of the
very
things
much
I like.
something out of My Boyfriend's Back, or
Yeah, dude.
Burying the Ex, or something like that. Yeah.
Or currently in theaters, Lisa Frankenstein.
Hey. I'm going to go see that, you guys.
I was going to say, I would like to see that.
Straight up go see it. Yeah.
Apparently set in the same world as Jennifer's Body.
Into it.
Yeah. We're working on a sequel.
That's how sequels get made. Sequel to Lisa Frankenstein or a sequel to Jennifer's Body?
Jennifer's Body.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, dude.
I'm into that.
Girl, me too.
That movie quietly rules. It's gotten a little louder in recent years, but damn, that movie rules so hard.
Yeah, it really got boned on marketing.
Yeah,
I was kind of
marketing did that movie
surprised
no favors.
how long it took for that movie to catch on.
Yeah,
Because being the trendsetter that I am,
of course.
I was kind of down from the beginning, and like
You hipster, you.
I kind of gave up. I didn't give up on the movie, but I gave up on it, like getting a following for a while, and then suddenly, I was like, "Yay! Finally, people are seeing it." Because it's really fantastic, you guys.
That is kind of Karen Kusama's whole thing. I'm very sorry to say, like she'll direct a movie, and it takes a few years to catch on, and then she'll get another opportunity, and people will go, "Well, we don't like this," and then it'll be years. And like, she is the director of Aeon Flux, previous episode of this podcast. 4 years after that,
the live action one,
with Charlize Theron.
Oh.
4 years after that, she gets Jennifer's Body, and then that one, doesn't go anywhere. So that's 2009. Another 6 years, she gets The Invitation, which is a fucking great movie.
That is a good movie. Yeah,
that movie fucking rules. Not the vampire one, but the one with the dinner invitation. It's so good.
Yep.
She does a segment of.
I haven't seen that one. I've seen the vampire one.
Oh,
you should see it, Brett. It's really good.
The 2015 The Invitation is really good.
All right.
Check it out.
And then after that, she just does a lot of TV. Chicago Fire, Casual, Masters of Sex, Man in the High Castle. She does a segment of the first XX movie. And then in 2018, she gets Destroyer, the Nicole Kidman movie. And then, like, that kind of doesn't do that great. So she goes back to TV. And I mean, she's done a couple episodes of Letter Jackets, but like, she was supposed to direct I think a Dracula movie, but then that got fucking canceled because of the Nicolas Cage one. So,
I did like Ringfield though.
Yeah, I think Karen Kusama would have had probably a different take.
Yeah,
but I think she's an incredible director. I just wish people would actually let her direct shit, like, because she's really good at it.
Let the lady direct. Come on.
Yeah,
come on.
Let her
Hollywood.
cook.
Give a gal some work.
Anyway, Plot in 60 Seconds is the part of the show where we recount the plot of the film in 60 seconds or less at the behest, since there are 3 of us today, of the D6 of Destiny. Brett, you are the keeper of the D6 of Destiny. Remind the audience which of us is assigned to which side, and then roll to see which of us will be recounting the plot of Dylan Dog, Dead of Night.
I believe the constant, because I always forget, but I'm pretty sure the constant assignments are 1 and 2 for you, Stephen, 3 and 4 for me, 5 and 6 for Decker.
I think that's correct.
That's me.
Yes.
All right.
All right. We're not going to roll that die.
Come on, man.
As I was holding it, I remembered that the company that made that die should not be given any airtime.
Okay.
Do you want me to fight them? Yeah. I'll fight them, Brett.
No, there was just some allegations is all about some of the management at that company.
I'll alligate my foot up their ass, Brett. Tell me where they live.
I don't remember.
Okay.
Anyway, And that's going to be a 3.
Oh, thank God. Oh,
That's you, buddy.
It is me.
I
It
was gonna pass
Yeah.
away if it was me. I was just gonna instantly pass away to avoid it.
You were gonna Della Morte all up in this bitch.
I was about to be Delamort, for sure.
All right, well, let me get 60 seconds on the clock for you, Brett. They are on the clock. I will give you the 30 and 10-second warnings, as I always try to do, unless you just get too funny with it. Your time will start when you do.
All right, off the dome like usual. Okay, so Dylan Dog is a private investigator who used to be a spooky private investigator, but he's not anymore because his fiance, wife, girlfriend died. Who knows? And he's got a partner who wants him to take more serious cases. So a high-profile person gets murdered, and she finds his old calling card. And then his partner gets murdered, and then he
30
has to
seconds.
go back and talk to all of his old friends. He used to be the supernatural middleman and keep everybody in line. So he talks to his old werewolf friend and his old vampire friend, and his partner that died becomes a zombie. And then it turns out Heart of
10
Belial
seconds.
is he turned an undead into a big old demon. But that actually the girl has been a monster hunter this whole time.
What?
And she dies, which kills the demon. And
Next
LOL.
time.
yeah, sure.
Good job. The end.
Yeah,
You guys,
I guess.
Marcus, like Groucho Marx? Marcus? Is it just me, you
Is that what
guys?
they were
Is it
going
just
for?
I don't know.
That probably is exactly what they were going for.
This movie, look, you guys, like I say, I have trouble paying attention to this movie, but I also respect the shit out of it. It's kind of, I feel very conflicted. My feelings about this film are complicated, is what I'm trying to say. No.
We'll talk
Mine
about
aren't
it.
really that complicated. I quite
Mine
enjoyed
also
it,
not that complicated.
but just because of the Dresden vibes I got off of it, I'm fucking ever since that ill-fated Dresden Files TV series, I've been craving a live-action Dresden something, and when something comes close, scratches the itch, I tend to enjoy it more than I probably should.
Is this a comic book or something? Is this something I should be consuming? Some form of entertainment? What is
That's
this
a
Dresden thing?
Series of novels.
Oh.
Brett says you should
books?
start with the third one. I didn't listen and I got bored, so I probably should have listened.
Yeah,
Fuck
some
that.
people are cool with that. Some people like the first two, but you don't have to. The second one, especially, even I will admit, is boring. But by the third one, he hits his stride. Anything you need to know, he covers. So you could skip right to book 3.
So the first two, audiobook. After that,
all of them audiobook. The audiobooks
okay.
are fucking fantastic. They're read by James Marsters, the guy that played Spike in Buffy.
Nice. Yeah,
he does a
he's
fantastic job.
He's such a nice man.
To the point where I like to listen to them more than I like to read them because he does such a good job.
I can imagine.
Even if he does mispronounce things a lot, but that's just names and stuff. Not
is he mispronouncing them or are you?
Well, so in the first two, he pronounces Falcone instead of Falcone, and in the third book he starts saying Falcone.
Wait, is this a Batman thing?
No, it's just the name of he's like one of the main antagonists that is like a mob boss in Chicago.
Because Chicago equals crime.
Have they teamed up before? Batman and the Dresden guy?
No, they're unrelated.
I'm quite confident that's never happened.
Do you know Dylan Dog teamed up with Batman recently? That's a real comic you can buy and read.
I know that only because you said that in the chat earlier.
That's a true deal.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, dude.
No, but
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just thought of that.
No, it's fine. And look, Steven, yes, on the surface, it does come off as Chicago equals crime, but there's a lot of lore reasons why Chicago is kind of like the epicenter of the supernatural world in America. So There's ley lines and all sorts of magical lore shenanigans.
Sure. H.H.
And
Holmes, blah, blah, blah.
also-
And also, like the Undercity, the Chicago Fire that put the one city on top of another. So like the Undercity is where a lot of like the supernatural world lives.
like that part in Arkham City. It's my favorite part of Arkham City when you're in the Undercity. It's so
Yeah.
rad. So fucking rad.
I had that game, but I lost the PlayStation in the divorce.
That's too bad, because those games are fantastic.
I give you my PS4 if you want it. I'm probably gonna
Yeah, dude.
get rid of it
Okay, I'll take it.
when I move.
And there's like a remastered
I don't have that
version
game anymore,
for
but I
that
can
too.
probably rebuy it. So yeah.
Yeah, you can buy the whole trilogy in one
for
package.
pretty cheap. Pretty
pretty cheap.
fucking cheap too.
Okay.
And they're all fantastic games.
All right. Yeah, I'll take that off your hands for you, bud.
All right.
Fucking A. I love
Hell
this.
yeah.
This warms my heart.
We got to make you a gamer yet, Steven.
You're gonna
Yeah, dude,
try.
You could do it, Steven.
Hand-eye coordination still sucks balls. A lot of button mashing.
Go get that.
But yeah, no. Yeah, my feelings on this aren't that complicated either because I didn't like it. I thought it was pretty bad.
Yeah,
I wanted
don't get it twisted. I didn't love it. The acting is terrible and the pacing is pretty bad. But
I really
otherwise,
wanted to like this. Like I thought the script was somehow both lazy and overcooked. Like it's like absolutely like lazy, but there's still too much plot. As evidenced by the fact that Brett was like slamming on the gas during the last 10 seconds to cover the plot of the rest of the movie. There are plot details that are like dropped in and then not mentioned for a half an hour. And so you think they forgot them and then they rush like bread at the end of that plot in 60 to like bring them in again. Like it's the script is a fucking mess. The acting is fairly atrocious. The humor is almost as forced as the romantic storyline, which I mean that there's no chemistry between the leads, no lead up to that whatsoever, no like teasing, flirting, nothing. It's just all of a sudden they're like getting naked and you're just like, wait, what did I miss?
Yeah.
What is going on here?
You missed nothing. No.
Like, and I mean, there are some ideas in here that I thought were pretty fun. Like the whole idea of the body shop, I thought was like, if that was in a better movie or if that was the movie, I would love that. Like that was just such a fun idea. I was wishing it was in a better film. I really was. I was just like, God, this is so good. Why can't this be in something better? And part of me wonders if like setting this film in New Orleans as opposed to London kind of hurt.
I liked the setting, actually. That's one of the things I appreciated about it was the kind of creative recasting of the location. I thought it was pretty good. I liked it.
Because, I mean,
if not a little stereotypical.
I mean, it's a spooky town. It's old and spooky as shit.
I mean, New Orleans in some ways kind of becomes the shorthand for like American spooky place, really, in a lot of ways, just because I think of the voodoo origins of the area. Like I think a lot of those come into play, and so it just can become shorthand for we need a spooky place in America.
It's a spooky place.
So spooky.
It's pretty spooky.
Pretty spooky, Sith.
I appreciate the practical effects in this movie.
Yes, seeing Belial at the end, all practical, was shocking but very cool.
It was great to see, but I did not really like the design of the monster. I thought it was kind of lazy and ugly, but still, I'm like, it's fucking practical in 2011, so I'll take what I can fucking get.
Indeed.
Yeah, and it's part of the reason why it looks as good as it does. It doesn't look great, but it looks. I mean, if they'd have tried to do this in CGI, it would look
oh my god.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, I mean, this film does
like
not
the wings do at that part. Like when they finally do use CGI, and you're like, "Oh, I'm so glad they only used it when they had to," because that looked bad.
Like all the transformation scenes, like you can tell like everybody's wearing makeup. I think they use like some CG effects on like the eyes, like when they needed the eyes to change
Sure,
color,
yeah.
like Marcus's at the end, or Peter Stormare's when he starts to turn into a werewolf. Peter Stormare, quietly the best part of this movie.
He's just doing his thing.
And he's so underused. It's like a fucking
It's
shame.
an Alfred Molina situation. Like once he showed up, I was like, oh, okay. Every scene he's in, I'm going to be happy.
But he's only in like 3. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And those are
like third billing. It's like, why would you advertise that and then only give us like 10 minutes of...
he gets the and, like, and in the end credits, like he gets the and, or he gets the with, and Taye Diggs gets the and. Sorry. But yeah, Peter Stormare gets the with. Like, I was like, okay, that's nice. Well, good for you, man. But yeah, like he's really good. But again, it's just kind of one of those performances where you're just like, kind of want there to be more of this. Like, this is the juice this movie needs, and you're not giving me near enough of it.
It did kind of suck watching this because I think Taye Diggs is kind of horrible in this.
He's awful. He's very miscast.
So good in Way of the Gun, and I watched that this week too. So to like kind of watch those back to back, it's like this makes me uncomfortable. Chicago he's so good
a couple weeks ago, and he's fucking fun. He's like
he's really good
charisma machine in Chicago.
It makes it more frustrating to know that you can give a better performance than this, Mr. Diggs.
Yeah.
Why aren't you doing it now?
And part of me wonders if it's the direction that he's receiving.
I think it has to have something to do with the direction, or even a bit with the script, because you can see people in this movie that are trying, but they're still not. Like Brandon Routh and Sam Huntington are trying really hard in this movie, but for not like they still suck.
Maybe it's because I did watch this movie in 4K, but I can see them trying. Like, I can see the effort. Particularly Sam Huntington. Like, when I say the humor is forced, there's one scene in particular after Taye Diggs throws them in the open grave in the cemetery, and like Dylan's like, well, zombies can dig. And he's like, and the joke is that Marcus is going to say no 10 times.
No.
That's the joke. He's going to say no 10 times. And then the punchline of the joke is that he does it anyway.
Yeah.
That's the whole fucking joke. I'm like, this is
classic.
This is the worst thing I've ever seen. Like, what the fuck are we doing? I don't.
And maybe some of the Marcus humor would have worked a little better in a different context. Say if he were Groucho Marx.
Maybe. Straight up
maybe.
Do you know
I kept thinking that the whole time. I'm like, that might have played a little better in that context. Maybe.
Do you know who the director of this film is, Tucker?
Oh, well, of course. Right off the top of my head, I know that it's Kevin Munro. He's the animation guy.
I was going to say, do you know what other movie we've covered that he directed?
No, that I will not pretend to know. TMNT.
He did TMNT. Yeah.
I like that one a lot. That one's fun. Steven didn't like that one very much.
It was fine. I liked it better than this.
I was surprised. Yeah, I was surprised that you didn't like it any more than you did, Steven.
He also directed a future episode of this podcast, the film version of Ratchet and Clank.
Oh, we're watching that? Cool.
Yeah, apparently at some point. It's on the list.
There's a film of that?
Yeah, dude. Came out in 2016.
Theatrically released film.
Was it live action? It wasn't. Was it?
Oh, no, it was animated.
Oh, okay.
This is Kevin Munro's only live action film.
Yeah, it didn't do spoilers for the end of this podcast, but this movie did not do very. I mean, I feel like I'm underselling it by saying it didn't do very well. Like, this fucking tanked.
Yeah, this is one of the worst box offices I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot doing.
We've seen a lot of bad box offices for sure.
This is our 173rd episode, so that's a lot of box offices.
But it still gives off like I would not be surprised if there's still like a cult following for this movie. It gives off that vibe very strongly.
Yeah.
Look,
there absolutely
I think
is.
This is the kind of movie. If this had come out when I was a kid, I probably would have latched onto it. just because when you're a kid, you don't have as many preconceived notions about like what good art is. You haven't really formed opinions on what is like good or bad. And
Right.
there's
You
just
see a
some
guy
really
fighting
interesting
vampires and werewolves and zombies, and it's the coolest thing ever when you're
there's
10.
a lot of interesting stuff in this movie that would have appealed to me when I was a kid. So if this came out when I was a kid, I would probably, with nostalgia goggles, really love this movie. As it is, I'd really love it if it were better because there's so much potential in the ideas, and some of the gimmicks in this movie are fucking brilliant. But
Instead of
there's
calling it
nothing to
Dead of
tie it
Night,
together.
they should have called it Dylan Dog Wasted Potential, because
Why
that's
don't you just call it?
kind of what the movie
Why
is.
don't you just fucking call it Dylan Dog, man? Why is it? Nobody knows who this is. Why does it need a subtitle? Just call it
Because it's
fucking
going to be
Dylan Dog.
because it's going to be a franchise, man. That's how you know they're angling for a franchise, is when they give the title a subtitle.
That's
If
how
the
you
title's got a
know.
subtitle, that's how you know.
That's how you know a franchise is gonna fail is if the movie thinks it's a franchise before it even has a fucking movie out.
That's why we have this podcast, Tucker.
That's why we're here.
That's literally why the three of us are talking about this thing.
We
right
did it.
now.
We came full circle, boys. Pack it in. Podcast over.
All right. It's been a blast. Thanks for joining us on this 173 episode run.
Yeah, good job.
We had some
guys.
guests booked, and but apparently we're not doing that anymore. Sorry.
Well,
Yeah.
you know,
Shut this off. Shut this all off.
Shut it down, guys. Shut it down.
Brett's like, finally I get to sleep at night now. Without the specter of this podcast haunting my every moment. No, we're gonna stick around for a little bit. But I mean, no, like that's 100% what they're doing with the subtitle. Is just trying to let you know, hey, we're gonna make a lot more of these, and then basically the population of the planet said, no, you're not.
Hey, let's just hope that the TV series will, give some of these good ideas a good interpretation.
Yeah, so let's so apparently James Wan announced a TV series, or is going to be produced in August of 2018. As of December 2022, it was still in development.
Can we get a de-aged Rupert Everett?
And on June 2nd of last year, an announcement was made. It was going to be faithful to the comics, and that they're going to get ready to start casting. That was last June.
Okay.
This is their. I don't know if this thing will ever see the light of day, but I don't know.
Maybe. I guess we'll see.
I guess
I hope so.
I know you do. I know you do.
Because this is such a small. It's just such a small thing. It's like Cemetery Man is one of my favorite things. Mm-hmm. So this by association, I want it. Because it's a singular thing, but it could be more. So it bothers me. Like I have Cemetery Man and I love that, but I want more of that kind of stuff. And if a Dylan Dog thing, movie or TV show were done in the true spirit of the character, boy, that would be fantastic. Like I said, it would basically be like this movie and Cemetery Man smashed together.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm way into that.
One of the things we lament a lot is what could have been.
Yeah.
And how cool what could have been would have been.
And how bad somebody fucked it up.
But see, here's the thing. I don't know that I want a sequel to this version of this movie. If it were, I think, truer to the source material, that seems like something more in line with what I would something I would like to watch. But I don't like this.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of it is just because I feel like they're trying to cram too many ideas in, and they're not doing it well. I knew pretty much from the jump the script was lazy because they over rely on the voiceover, on Dylan's voiceover. Yeah.
Narration's great when it's done well, but when you fucking lean on it like a crutch, you know something's wrong.
Like when you have to lore dump all your exposition in the narration because you can't build it into the dialogue like in a natural way, that's a problem. And this movie does that a lot.
I didn't have a problem with that just because it's going for a noir feel. Like, that is what it is.
But then, like, they don't really emphasize the noir elements to the full extent that they should. Like I would want to see more like the stark lighting of like the film noir. I would love to see like some of those like filmmaking elements folded in. I think that would be a really nice touch. Like maybe if you did the intro or any flashback scenes, did those entirely in like the black and white film noir style. That'd be really fun and an interesting way to set those apart rather than doing the same flashback 2 times in a row. We over explain things. We have one character explain something and then another character explain it again. Um, we don't need to know that like twice. And they show us the same footage both times. Like, I think, like, I can tell they're like definitely trying to like do kind of an homage thing. Like, and then the girl ends up being the villain at the end too, like, and that's kind of a play on the femme fatale trope, but there's nothing to prepare us for that. There's nothing to lead up to that. It's just kind of a, oh, and surprise. Like, I figured it out just because when they decide it's Vargas that's behind everything, there's still 40 minutes left in the film, and I'm like, okay, so it's definitely not Vargas then, which is Taye Diggs' character. So I'm like, well, who else is there in this movie? The girl? Okay, it's the girl. Like, I guess she's the monster hunter that we've been looking for this entire time.
You know, Steven, you were talking about the noir aspects of this and how there could have been some cool black and white scenes and stuff. Important thing to note, the comic book is black and white by default.
Oh, that's cool.
So that could have been a fun homage to the comics as well.
Do it sort of like, I don't know, maybe sort of in the style of Sin City, but more surreal, you know?
Because Sin City is doing the noir thing, but like cranking it up to 11. But that's Frank Miller's style, though. Like that,
and
if
it's
you
great.
read a Frank Miller book, like it's good in those books, but like,
yeah,
I think it worked well on the big screen in the first Sin City and in 300. And after that, like when we do finally get to talk about the Spirit movie,
I can't wait.
I can,
because I know that movie sucks and I'm gonna hate it, but I've been so curious about it.
It's so bad. It's the movie I came closest to walking out of in my life that I saw in theaters.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wowzers.
Yeah. So there's that.
Can't wait to see it.
It's awful. It's pretty terrible.
The Spirit, man. Some people
here's the thing.
Some people fear it.
The comic books,
people just won't go near it,
are incredible. Like Will Eisner's comics are incredible. And I'm just like, I know Frank Miller was a fan, but I watched that movie and I'm like, where are you actually though, Frank?
I don't know. I think Frank Miller, he's a very unique voice in storytelling and comic book making and filmmaking. But I don't think he's the kind of filmmaker that does a good job adapting someone else's material.
I think he wants to do things the way he wants to do them to the detriment of the medium and the material.
Mm-hmm.
Like All-Star Batman and Robin is kind of that.
That's so bad. When that first came out, I bought a couple of those issues, and I was like, "What the fuck, man? Like, this is awful. It's so bad.
It's so awful." He also did like a really racist comic post 9/11.
I believe that
was really insensitive and
he's an old-timey kind of guy, you know. Yeah. He's a get off my lawn kind of guy. So
he's a crank. He's a curmudgeon. One of my favorite,
not in an Alan Moore kind of way, but like more in a Clint Eastwood kind of way.
Yeah, like talking to empty chairs kind of way.
Yeah, dude.
So I bought The Unbreakable on DVD, like, and it was like one of the first editions of like when DVDs were new, and so they had like a shit ton of special features, and they had a documentary about comics on the disc.
I remember that. I had that DVD. Yeah,
Frank Miller's going on and on about shit, and you cut to Denny O'Neil, who is like the editor on the Bat books for like the entire decade of the 80s, and he goes, "Now, see, the thing you got to remember about Frank Miller is he hates superheroes." And it just made me laugh so hard.
Wow, and sometimes that makes for good shit, and sometimes not so much.
I mean, he reinvented Batman, but every time he tried to return to that well, he like poisoned it. Like
Yeah.
The Dark
Yeah.
Knight Returns is not good.
Yeah.
All-Star Batman and Robin is actively bad. It's the title that basically made them stop writing All-Star books.
Wait, I thought Dark Knight Returns was good.
Oh no,
Are you
sorry.
talking about the sequel to
Isn't that
that?
Yes.
considered to be like one of the best comic
No,
books?
no,
I
sorry. You're
really
right. You're
like
right.
that.
No,
It's a
Dark
really
Knight
good
Returns is good.
animated
Dark Knight
adaptation
Strikes
too.
Back is what I think it
There
is.
you go.
Yeah.
Peter Weller plays
Okay.
Batman in the animated adaptation of Dark Knight Returns. It's fantastic. If you guys haven't seen it, I think I'm sure it's on HBO Max because I saw it when I was going through the DC shit the other day. Definitely check that. It's in 2 parts.
Dark Knight
Really good.
Strikes Again or DK2. That's
I
the
read
bad
that.
one.
It wasn't good.
It's bad.
Well,
And I read it because it's got one of my favorite comic book superheroes in it, which is Plastic Man. Except Frank Miller doesn't know how to write Plastic Man, so he
that's
kind of
too
ruins
bad.
it. Yeah.
I mean that kind of tracks though. I can't imagine Frank Miller would be good at writing Plastic Man. It's a whole tone that I don't know that he's really good at.
Yeah, agreed. But
cool
yeah.
that he included him though, like
Yeah.
representation and appreciation for the character. That's rad.
Absolutely. Like, and it feels more ambitious in a way that I don't think Frank is really capable of handling. I mean, if we're looking for stuff Frank did well, his stuff on Daredevil is formative to that character.
Yeah, that's really, really good actually. I love his run on Daredevil.
Yeah, I owned most of that at one point, and it is good. It's good comics for sure.
Which I think is what that I've heard. That is what they're adapting into the Born Again series.
Here's the thing: every adaptation of Daredevil so far has owed a significant debt to Frank Miller.
Even the Ben Affleck one, like,
yeah,
there's shit in that movie that's directly from
Fair
the
enough,
Frank Miller shit.
Right. Like Elektra's death scene is that iconic, like Bullseye lifting her on the side, like that's straight out of Miller's book. Like,
wish she would have stayed dead. What? Hold on.
We covered Elektra on this podcast. Actually, I'm saving Daredevil for whenever Born Again comes out, but we are going to cover the Affleck Daredevil here on this main feed as well.
Can we do the director's cut? Because the director's cut's pretty okay.
It's better. I think we
actually enjoy it.
We can do the director's cut as an extension of our discussion of the theatrical cut.
Okay. Well, that means we'd have to watch it twice. That kind of sucks.
I mean, yeah. But it's 2 completely different movies, though.
I will during that episode. I will discuss what I like about the director's cut, though. So yeah, that works. Yeah. I'm into it. Band meeting over.
All right. We've been
so Batman again, like we said, is crossing over with Dylan Dog in the comics. That's pretty rad. We were talking about Batman, right? No, Frank Miller.
We were talking about Frank Miller. Yeah, we can get back to Dylan Dog though. That was just a huge digression on my part, but
that's fine. That's our thing.
It is.
That's what we do around here.
That's why people listen.
Is it? God, I honestly, I'm at a point where I don't know why people listen.
I feel like it is. Like, otherwise, we're just 3 white dudes sitting around talking about movies. You know how many different podcasts there are like that?
None.
But look, we're the tangent guys. We got the best tangents. Our tangents are tight. Like, everybody knows we have the sickest tangents.
Yeah.
And that's what sets us apart and what people like the most.
Yeah, dude. That's what brings them back. That's what puts the asses in the seats, Stephen.
Yeah, because we set it off like F. Gary Gray.
Send us an email and either confirm or deny that's the case.
Yeah. disenfranchedpod@gmail.com.
Then maybe we're wrong. Maybe more people would listen if we stopped fucking around.
Maybe. I don't know. But then
email
we wouldn't us.
Be us.
At this point, we're too far gone.
We're not going to change. We just want to know.
Yeah, man, Dylan Dog. Like, I went into this one kind of excited. Like, I really wanted to like this one.
It's a bad movie you want to like. It really is. From the outset, you're like, boy, I really want to like this movie. But
there are some movies in this podcast that I come to and I like accidentally get a glimpse of like the tomatometer score or something. And I'll be like, maybe we can reclaim it though. Like, maybe we can be the guys that are like, nah, this movie's straight up good.
Bitch, I do that all the time.
And
It's
this
great.
is, I wanted to do it here, and it's just
Yeah.
not. It's just
Same.
not.
Same. Every time I watch it, I'm like, it's gonna happen. I'm gonna really appreciate this movie this time. And
Particularly
I'm just like,
because
okay.
Norvin was so excited for us to cover it, and I was just like, I want to like it for him, but I can't like it. I'm sorry,
Well, like
man. I
I'm
tried.
gonna be a little bit of a Tucker here and be like, look, I know this movie is not good, but I kind of dig it anyway.
No.
That's rad. I'm way into
So
that.
And
yeah,
here's the thing: if any of us was going to like it, I had a feeling you would probably be, because it's got all your spooky shit in it.
this is my shit. Yeah, this is
It
absolutely
is.
my shit. Like to once again invoke the Dresden Files. Like it's my favorite book series. It's one of my favorite like IPs. Like I want to see it done in more ways. And this definitely gives very strong Dresden vibes. So I again love it more than I probably should.
There was part of me that was worried that this episode was going to be like Steven versus the co-hosts again, and I was just like, I don't want that to be the case. So I'm glad we can all come to an
I wasn't
accord.
sure. I kind of felt like maybe that was going to happen too, because I feel like this is definitely Tucker. This is definitely a movie I feel like you would have loved as well. But
Yeah, I keep telling myself that every time I watch it.
How many times have you seen it now?
I think this is my 4th time seeing it. I saw it when it was
Has
at the theater. I rented it when it came out, and then I subsequently watched it on a streaming service a couple years ago. So I think
so
4 times.
do you find it appreciates or depreciates with subsequent rewatches for you?
It stays the same for me.
Okay.
It really does. I get the same feeling where I'm like, all right, look, I really want to like this movie because there are some parts of it that just really draw me in, and like I really love them, but it's just not enough every time. I'm just it sucks because I want to love this movie so much, but
And look, if you
it's
love this movie, that's
that's great.
great. I'm
Look,
excited, honestly.
like I was saying earlier, like the ideas in this movie and some of the stuff that goes on in it, it's really cool and it's really interesting, and I feel like, some people, depending on what their interests are, that might draw them in more. Like with Brett, like this is right up his alley. So even though it's not great, he's still gonna dig it more than we do because it like owns the bodega in his alley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
for
Exactly.
sure. Yeah.
And like, yeah, if you like it, I'm really glad. I wish I had more positive to say about it for you. But I can't be that guy. I wish I could. I can't.
No,
What did list the things you did like about this movie, Steven?
I really like the body shop sequence. I thought that was really,
Yeah,
really fun.
that was
yeah,
fun.
like that. There's bits and pieces of this movie like that are like,
Mhm.
this is really good. Why isn't the rest of the movie like this?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I mean, even right after that scene where he wakes up in the cart in the grocery store, like talking
Yeah,
about his arm, like that was
Mhm.
also hilarious. Like,
that was fun. Yeah.
But like, but then there are bits that go on for too long, like the
Oh my
worm
God, yes.
thing. Just like that's a running gag that could have probably ended right away. And then there are like elements of the world building that I think, like the diner run completely by zombies, and they're offering like zombie friendly meals like they're vegetarian options. Um, that I thought was really fun. The body shop again, I can't leave it alone. It's such a fun idea where
all the
you walk
zombie
in,
stuff.
the
Steven liked all the zombie stuff.
basically, but like, and
The support group of the zombies that are like
yeah,
helping one another, like come to
that
terms
was
with their
pretty
death.
fun.
Yeah.
But I wanted more out of, I wanted to explore more the juxtaposition between like the vampires who kind of feel like this old world elite, and the werewolves who just kind of felt like the day laborers and the grunts. Like I kind of liked that. I would love to see that explored more. There's suggestions in the world building, but I want to see it fleshed out in a way that helps this movie be better.
Which I get that, but if you want that, go watch. I don't know. Give me a minute. You want me to list all the other vampire and werewolf movies and stories that do that exact same thing?
Sure.
Um,
Point taken. But,
I mean, it gets to a point where I think at this point you can't. tell a vampire werewolf story without doing it that way anymore. I'd love to see somebody try.
It's true.
But I mean, right down to like the vampires are selling their blood to get humans high. Like
It's
that's
high,
oh my
yeah.
god, that's so fucking overdone.
What
Like,
about the wooden bullets? I thought that was clever.
that's lifted. I'm pretty sure that's lifted right out of like Hunter the Reckoning, which is the Vampire the Masquerade universe.
Oh, wow.
I know
Um,
Hellboy does something similar to that in the first
Yeah,
Guillermo del Toro movie as well. He's got like bullets that are like filled with like silver and wolf's bane and wood and like all this like bits of cross and all the holy water and all this shit just so they can feasibly kill whatever they hit.
right.
Speaking of wooden bullets, you guys, the best part of this movie is a very nothing part of this movie. It's a very inconsequential part of this movie. Doesn't even need to be there, but it is what the rest of the movie should be, tonally and visually. And it's when they flash back to him killing all of like the head monsters, because that
Which time we saw it, the
reminds
first
me of
time or the second
Cemetery
time?
Man. The first time, when it's just like the shot and then the barrel of the gun and then the reaction and the barrel of the gun, that was very Cemetery Man. That reminded me of Cemetery Man a
Steven's
lot.
being a stinker right now.
Oh,
Yeah, because they do that exact same flashback twice, completely unnecessarily. Like the second time, I'm just like, we don't
no,
need this
bring it
again.
on, because it's like I say, it's stylistically what I want out of the rest of this movie. How fantastic would that be?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
That would be something.
that gives noir. Like that's one of the like the only times that it's giving
Well,
noir.
and that
Like,
that almost makes me feel like, because of the way that's shot and edited, it almost makes me feel like maybe that is maybe a little teeny tiny hidden homage to Cemetery Man.
definitely could be.
Maybe. Because it looks like it's right out of that fucking movie, dude. It's the exact kind of shit that's in every frame of that movie.
But that scene though that's where all of my plot hole lore questions come from. Like, if he was chosen all those years ago to be the middleman and keep everybody in line, but then he goes rogue and kills the entire leader vampires,
Vampire Council.
and then retires. Like,
Gotta retire on
first
top.
of all, why wouldn't all the other monster clans punish him for doing that? Because that's what he was supposed to be doing, is keeping things in line.
I don't know,
Second of
according
all,
to Tay Diggs, maybe they were all wanting somebody to do that. Maybe they were all into setting him up to do that.
Well, he
the vampires
was,
would
yeah.
be
he was set up,
right.
if you remember correctly.
well, sure. Well, but
Tay
the
Diggs
vampires
would want
were.
that, but what about the werewolves and the zombies or anyone else?
Yeah, everybody else. Yeah,
Oh.
that's the part I mean. Like, yes,
I'm just speculating.
Vampires love a good power vacuum. They'll eat that
Yeah.
shit up. Like, that's what vampires are all about. Is power dynamics.
This is
Common
just
vampire trait.
a thing we know about vampires.
Yeah.
Yes, they love.
They gotta
fighting for
count
power.
matchsticks too, right? That's crazy.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's wild.
Depending on the lore. Yeah, sometimes.
That's my favorite, like, one that people rarely include, but when it's there, I'm like, oh, look at that.
Yeah.
I'm. Wait.
I like the not being able to cross running water. That's my favorite obscure one.
That's good too. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that one too. It's fun.
But yeah, no. So yeah, that question: why did the other monster clans just let that happen? And then after that, so if he retires, did somebody take his place? Is nobody else out there keeping all the clans in line? If there isn't, why didn't everything just fall into chaos? He was supposed to be making sure everybody stayed in their places. Too many questions.
These are questions
too many
we
questions.
And how long was he out? Because you don't know if it's like a couple of years, if it's like decades, if he's really old, like it could have been who knows how much time.
Yeah, a
Like,
lot
we're
of these
given no
characters are
indication.
immortal, so
Yeah, and I mean, it feels like a John Wick situation when he breaks the floor and finds his old bag of stuff, and
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
Yeah.
Wait,
John
you
Wick
guys,
right down to the Peter Stormare appearance, really.
is John Wick hundreds of years old? Is he immortal?
I mean, he's played by
I've-
Keanu Reeves. You do the math.
No, I've never
No.
seen any John Wick. Is that part of the story? Is that like a weird like sci-fi thing?
It unfortunately isn't. I kind of wish it was.
Ah,
Like if
fuck. I
John
was
Wick
like,
had
I'll
some
watch those movies now.
just
Like,
a
I
tiny
actually
little
want
bit
to
of
see them.
supernatural in the lore, that'd be really cool. Instead, it has some other cool lore. Just assassin lore.
Honestly, I kind of like the lore of the John Wick franchise. It's pretty good.
I just never seemed appealing to me. It's always like almost appealing. Like I say, if he were an ageless being, that would cross the threshold, and I'd be like, "Yep, gonna watch
You
him
know
now."
what? That can just be your headcanon. If that gets you in, if that gets your foot in the door, just make that your headcanon, dude.
An ageless being that can still die.
I mean, Ian McShane is in those movies, so
Yeah,
Yeah.
he sure is.
I should probably look at
Most
him.
of the cast of all of those movies is pretty good.
Larry Fishburne.
Wait, isn't Homeboy from Corporate and The Wire and the Remedy game with the guy from The Following?
Are we
We
really
like him.
doing the? Are we really
What's his
doing the
name?
guess the actor thing again?
No,
Oh,
you know
Lance
exactly.
Reddick?
Lance Reddick. Yes, Lance Reddick.
Yes, he is.
Why did I mention
Yes.
him? Because I went on such a thing there.
Oh, because he's in those. He's in those movies.
Oh.
Yeah.
Word.
And
Yeah,
he got to complete his arc too. They didn't have to recast him. They didn't have to do all that.
Nice.
So
Nice.
that was
Always nice when it happens good.
good. Yeah. So
Love
I
that
mean,
guy.
it's okay. You
R.I.P..
should give them a shot. I would recommend them to you more than like making you watch the whole Saw franchise.
Word. Which I'm still gonna do at some point. I just,
Sure. At least there's
I
only
put it off, and then
4 John Wicks and not
that's true.
8, 9, 10.
10.
Sauce.
10. Because the last one was X,
X, yeah.
That's true. Yep.
which
Soon to be
the
11.
Romans will say is 10 with their numerals.
Sure.
Crazy Romans.
Yep.
Anyway, what you doing there, Steven?
Just making some show notes.
That's cool. I like that. I love that.
Trying to get ahead of it.
No, I like that. I like that a lot. I'm way into that.
But no, like I don't know. I don't really have much else to say about Dylan Dog. I'm sorry to say.
I don't either, honestly. There weren't any video games based on this franchise. I think it
Which
feels
well
weird.
to some. Well, it wasn't popular enough.
I think there'd
I
be
mean,
like a
here,
mobile
but
game.
in other countries, maybe.
Well, not even. I mean, you don't really hear about.
And that's kind of the problem, is that it is like an American film. So I don't even know, like in Italy, where Dylan Dog is a big deal, if they even gave a shit about it. I mean, I think anybody that's that familiar with the source material and they see that trailer, they're like, no thanks.
Well, also, and I mean, I could be just shoving my entire foot in my mouth right now, but like,
Please do.
I don't entirely hear. I mean, do we know of a whole lot of like Italian game developers that would make a game about Dylan Dog? Like,
I feel like maybe there's one or two, but I can't. I mean, you've got a lot in like Eastern Europe, and even in places like Germany and France, but well, shit. Now I'm going to be on the lookout for.
There was
Italian
a
game
1992 game for DOS. It looks like there's a link for you guys.
I believe it.
I'll put anything out on DOS,
right? Especially back then.
Yeah. But yeah, looks like it called Dylan Dog Murderers. There's also something called Dylan Dog Through the Looking Glass. That might be a different thing, but
are we on Steven's video game corner right now? What the fuck is going on here, you guys?
Maybe I should stop assuming video games don't exist for these things and actually do my due diligence, I guess. Otherwise, Steven comes out here and steals my damn thunder. Get the fuck out of my corner, Steven. This is my corner.
Yeah, dude. You're not invited to the corner, dude. You're banished. Exiled from the corner.
Taking the thunder. This is my thunder now. You get your own thunder.
Get over in your corner.
Well, fuck. Now I got to start learning about Jesus.
Damn it.
Good luck.
Damn it. I don't want to learn about Jesus anymore.
Nah, you love the Jesus lore, dude.
Oh,
I
this
mean, I
looks
love
cool.
robotic exegesis.
Yeah, we
In this
know.
giant mech,
Giant mech suit.
all the disciples have their own mechs, and they combine into one giant Jesus.
Yeah.
Like, and you can't be mad at that.
No,
It's fantastic.
And yet someone will
Who
be.
could
I
ask for more?
guarantee you. Yeah.
it's fucking
Jesus would like that, from what I understand about the man. He would think
uh,
that was pretty funny, probably.
you know, the Book of Voltron, Chapter 3,
Yeah,
verse
dude.
7.
Yeah, man. Fucking now we're in every corner,
Oh,
man.
good Lord. Yeah, we're just with our corners combined.
Good
I don't
job,
even
you
know what
guys.
this is anymore.
I feel like
Hey, Dylan Dog.
that probably summons hope. Actually, if we combine all of the corners together, that probably summons hope.
Yeah, probably. Probably.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah,
I'm into it. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Good job, you guys. We talked about Dylan Dog.
We
How
did.
cool
We
is
talked
that?
about Dylan Dog. Probably not as much as some people would like, but hey, here's a thing I discovered while I was doing
Sure.
like some cursory research for this. There are a bunch of like Italian made, they almost look like student films based on Dylan Dog, to the extent that I had to Google Dylan Dog public domain because I'm like, how can they actually make this shit? But like there are several Italian, and they all came out after this movie. So they're all like 2014, 15, 2012.
Well, I mean, copyright laws are different everywhere.
Sure.
And also, I mean, if it's a student film, they're not making any money off of it. So,
Sure, but I couldn't tell based on like
see.
some of the
Okay.
artwork. And of course I can't find these films anywhere, and even if I did, the likelihood of them being subtitled is minimal. And dubbed even less. So, yeah, I had no context for these other than I could tell the names of these films were Italian. And there was definitely a character called Dylan Dog, and in many of them, a character called Groucho. So they were not
There you
worried
go.
about the Marx estate getting pissed. But yeah.
No. Like I said, well, they
Yeah.
published the comics with Groucho in Italy, so obviously things are different over there, or maybe I don't know. I don't know how it works over there.
Maybe they're just
Every
less
country's
worried
different.
about pissing off the Marx estate.
Yeah, maybe the
I
Marx
mean,
estate is just like, we're not. You could have asked us. Like, you didn't have to assume
the
America that we
character
wouldn't let it happen.
is not actually Groucho, though. It's a Groucho impersonator.
Is it though?
According to what I've read, yes. But
There's some debate about that.
I sort of
Do
got the
tell.
impression that maybe it's a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. It's an impersonator.
Yeah.
That's some shit.
I'm gonna say Groucho in the Dylan Dog comics, from what I understand, is like Elvis in Bubba Hotep.
An unreliable narrator.
But still, you're like, maybe I don't know. It's ambiguous, is what I'm saying. Leaning heavily into it's actually Groucho Marx somehow.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well played.
Well, Steven, give us the box office. I have to pee.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good. So Dylan Dog comes out in the United States on April 29th, 2011. And I just realized that I had pulled up the daily and not the weekend box office for that. So give me 2 seconds to get that pulled up. Here we go. It opens at number 18 that weekend to a weekend box office total of $754,000 for its opening weekend. Domestically in the United States, it will gross $1.2 million, another $5 million worldwide, for just a scant $6 million worldwide box office off of a $20 million production budget. This
Oof.
Yeah, one of the worst box offices I've seen.
One of the biggest oofs of all times.
Big damn oof. In the top 5 this weekend, at number 1, My favorite entry in this franchise that y'all just refuse to watch, it's Fast Five. These movies
Oh,
fucking slap. Opening new this
you know
week.
who else? You know who else loves the Fast and Furious movies?
People of good taste.
Christopher Nolan.
I, you know,
Christopher Nolan unashamedly loves Fast and Furious movies
they're
based on that
fun.
recent interview he did.
They're
Loves
really
them.
fucking fun.
I love that Christopher Nolan makes the highbrow shit that he does, but he still appreciates shit that's a little more fluff. It's a little more
Mm-hmm.
popcorn. That's
Yeah,
the kind of artist I strive to be, honestly.
that makes me respect him a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely.
In second place, we've got the 20th Century Fox animated film Rio. In 3 weeks, it has grossed about $100 million. In third
Cool.
place, Medea's Big Happy Family, down from 2 in its second weekend. It's grossed about
Cool.
41 million. In fourth place, Water for Elephants.
The fuck?
Yep. That's that Robert Pattinson, Reese Witherspoon movie.
Okay.
Is it Reese Witherspoon?
Could be Reese with a spork.
It is Reese Witherspoon. I was right.
Okay.
In
That's
fifth
really funny,
place,
you guys suck.
and I mean, if it was funny, I'm pretty sure I would have laughed. But
Shut
I
up,
mean,
Steven. You don't know what comedy is.
I will tell you, better than any joke in Dylan Dog.
Hey, I win.
Wow.
Wow, Mater. Wow. Wow. In fifth place, a movie called Prom, but not the like musical from a few years ago. Just another movie called Prom.
What the fuck is this week?
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a movie I don't recognize either. Like I don't recognize this movie. It made about $10 million worldwide, so it's still better than Dylan Dog.
Yeah.
In sixth place, Hoodwinked 2, Hood versus Evil, also opening this weekend to $4 million.
Cool.
In seventh place, Soul Surfer, one of those religious-y movies about a surfer who gets her arm bitten off. In eighth place, Insidious. Speaking of James Wan. In ninth place, future episode of this podcast, Hop. And in 10th place, Source Code.
I have that on my voodoo. Hey, that movie's really, really good. Did I tell you guys I watched that and it was really, really good?
That's what I've heard. You're not the first person to tell me that.
Yeah.
Past and future guest Samuel Dumas, I believe, is a fan of that film.
I had never heard of it before, and then just randomly a couple months ago, I was watching a YouTube video and somebody mentioned it, and I was like, "The fuck? How have I not seen this?" Luckily, it was streaming, and I watched it. Man, that's a fantastic movie. If you guys haven't seen it, it's really, really fun. Really fun.
I do also want to mention that Scream 4 in its third weekend has dropped down to number 13, which is a big ass bummer.
Oh damn! I really like that movie.
I do too.
I think that's my favorite Scream film.
It's number 2. It's number 2 for me. After the first one. So the tomatometer score on Dylan Dog Dead of Night is a 4%.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah. Critics' consensus: an uninspired, feebly acted horror comedy that produces little scares and laughs. The Metascore is 31, generally unfavorable based on 10 critic reviews. And the Letterboxd score is a 2.3. Tucker, out of 5 stars, how are you rating 2010 or 11's, I guess, Dylan Dog?
I'm giving it 2 stars because I really want it to be good. And I really want to like it. And there's just enough stuff in this movie that I keep coming back to it. Mm-hmm. Even though I keep getting disappointed every time, I keep getting drawn back to it. So it's obviously doing something right. Yeah. 2 stars.
2 stars. Brett, what about you?
This may surprise you, gave it 3.5.
Hey, okay.
Hey.
I expected a 3 tops, but wow, yeah, no. Okay. Hell yeah.
Yeah, no. Nice. My gut reaction was a 3.5. Will it drop to a 3? Maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
Who knows?
And
not before the end of this podcast.
No, because we're coming in for a landing. And I gave it 2 as well. Did not really care for this one. There's some elements I liked, some ideas I liked, but it feels like an exercise in wasted potential, as I mentioned once or twice on this episode. So, um, if the TV show does get made, I hope it's able to extrapolate on the things that this film does well and leave behind a lot of the shit that it doesn't.
Well, if the Dresden Files TV series is any indication, they won't. So,
Boo.
But yeah, there it is. That is our discussion on Dylan Dog.
Dylan Dog.
There it is. We've all been waiting for
Howling
it.
at my back door. Anyway,
We have been the Disenfranchised Podcast. Hey, while you're on the internet, just trolling around, if you think about it, you want to help us, head on over to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a nice, juicy 5-star rating and review. That really goes a long way to help us find other people. You can be like Brandy, who left us a 5-star review. And as we said a couple weeks ago, you leave one, we'll read it. She says, the chemistry between the three hosts is so great, and I always have so much fun listening to this podcast. They're funny, and they cover a wide variety of movies. Brandy, thank you.
love it.
We appreciate you. In addition to Apple Podcasts and Spotify, you can now find the Disenfranchised Podcast on YouTube Music and Amazon and Audible. So we are now in all of those places as well. So there is no excuse. We are now existing everywhere you get podcasts. So you're welcome.
We're like Santa Claus, dude. We're everywhere.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
We see you
our
when you're
Eldritch
sleeping.
influence increases.
We know when you're awake. We're like the mighty Cthulhu, always resting but ever aware.
Better fucking be good, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Dude.
Yeah,
I
dude.
saw that. Yeah.
Anyway, you can also look if you want to help us out a little more, you've already left us the 5-star rating in the review. You want to help us out a little more, you can drop some money on us over at patreon.com/disenfranchpod. For $5 a month, you get access to just days of extra podcasts that we've made, including our weekly What Are We Watching show, our recent unenfranchised episode on the Rage Carry 2, episodes completely devoted to video games called Oops All Video Game Corner, episodes completely devoted to Jesus called Oops All Christianity Corner. If there's something we do on this feed that you like, we probably do a lot of it behind that paywall as well, and some other different stuff as also. So check that out. That's patreon.com/disenfranchpod. We do exist on social media. You can find us on Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, and Letterboxd and YouTube at disenfranchpod. I am your host, Stephen Foxworthy. You can find me on Instagram, Letterboxd, and Blue Sky at Chewy Walrus. Brett, give the people what they want. That is to say, your social handles.
I am on Blueski, Instagram, Letterboxd. Is that everything? I haven't done this in so long.
I think you're good. Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay. It's sus_warlock, except for on Blueski, where I'm just sus warlock because they don't like underscores.
Yeah, that's weird.
Come sign up for Blueski now. They're not invite only anymore.
Yeah,
I've got the party.
I've got all these invites. I have nothing to do with. So
No.
Well, yeah, and now they're useless because they're not invite only anymore. So come on over,
work, Steven.
Make Blueski, relevant because it's still kind of boring.
It's still so much better than X, though.
It is. You're
now
not
that
wrong.
Elon's turned it into 4chan,
which is why I want to see it thrive.
Yeah,
because I've improved it based on some feedback we've gotten from some listeners, which I very much appreciate. It's been improved once I implemented those things, but still could use a little bit more engagement.
Sure, understood. Right on, Tucker.
Anyway,
where can we find you on socials these days?
Currently listening to Mr. Blue Sky in my head, like I always am when you guys mention Blueski.
Mr. Blue, you did it right, but
I wanted to mention that it's really great to support us with reviews and ratings and on the Patreon, but You know, my local NHPR station has been doing their winter pledge drive, and it got me thinking, look, if you guys want to put the podcast in your will, that's literally something you can do.
Oh, wow.
So maybe you don't have the money now, but you plan on being rich in the future, and then at some point, hopefully many, many years in the future, passing on, put us in your will, put us in your estate. You know, it's not an immediate, you're gonna live to at least 80, I think. So just throw us in there.
There
I'm
you
just saying it's an
go.
option. It's an
It
option.
is.
Yeah.
Okay.
It certainly is.
You don't have to do it.
You
I
don't have to.
I don't think that we should take cars for donation though, because I don't really want to deal with all that. But
No,
definitely
that's a
put
lot of
us in your
paperwork.
will. We do not have tote bags, unfortunately. Maybe one day. We'll
Maybe
see.
some hot beverage thermal mugs and free balloons for the kids.
Yeah, I'm into that as well. Some shot glasses as well with the disenfranchised branding on it. Our
or even
faces
better,
or the
mugs.
dude. Yeah, well, Brett already said mugs, hot beverage
Oh.
mug.
That's true.
Yeah,
He
dude.
did.
Hot
Not
beverage
the-
thermal mugs.
Yeah, dude. Fucking A. The plastic kind, not like porcelain. Anyway, you can find me on Instagrams and the YouTubes at Ice909. That's ICENINE, the number 0 and the number 9. Also on Instagram, of course, is Tuck Mugs. That's Tuck_Mugs. It's our little like mug collecting and appreciating community, man. It's fucking community now, you guys.
A lot of guest
It's
mugs
a straight up
recently.
and a lot of people who have had more than one guest mug.
Yeah, we've got a few returning
I'm
guests,
into that.
particularly
Anytime.
since the new year started. Yeah.
Yours truly
Send
included.
me send me
Same.
your entire collection. I don't care. Like just give me posts till the end of time. Let's make a really cool Instagram spot.
There you go.
It's
For
pretty
mugs
rad right
and
now.
mug enthusiasts.
It's mugs, really any glassware or drinkware. Shot glasses are accepted. Even I do teacups if you got a really cool teacup or something. Anything you can drink out of, even like a travel mug. We've had travel mugs on there.
Mm-hmm.
No
I
big
did my
whoop.
collection of like tankards and
Yeah, dude.
old school Western, whatever the fuck you would call those.
My first submission was a tiki mug that looks like Gizmo.
What are you drinking out of, everybody? Let us know. I want to
Right
see
now,
it.
I'm
I want
drinking
to
out
know
of
about it.
my Bluth Company pint glass from Arrested Development.
Oh, I like that.
And I'm drinking out of my Bigfoot saw me, but nobody believes him mug from Michigan.
Hey, I like that. You know, it's just
Nice.
important that he believes in himself.
Damn.
That's really the important thing. I'm drinking out of a natural light can
You
because
are.
that's what my beer came in. So that's pretty rad.
Is it?
Yeah, I
That's
like natural light. It's
sure.
a good shit beer. It's the kind of beer that like you don't have to finish it at the end of the night because it's going to taste exactly the same in the morning. It's not a big deal.
My favorite shit beer is Old Style, man. Maybe it's the Chicago
Style
in me,
is good.
but I love
It
that.
is
I mean,
good.
just
It's-
about every beer is shit beer, so you know.
That's also fair. Definitely an acquired taste for most people.
I just had to find the right one, and then it opened up a whole new world for me.
There you go. A
I
new
found
fantastic
good
point
ones.
of view.
Yeah, I found some good ones. Didn't change my mind though.
Fair enough.
Fucking
Well,
A.
hey, that is all we've got for you today. And be sure to join us next week where we've got another episode of this podcast planned and gonna coming at you. So until next time, I am your host, Stephen Foxworthy. This has been the Disenfranchised Podcast for my co-hosts, Brett Wright and Tucker. Until next time. Oh, shit. I was going to keep singing Mr. Blue Sky, but I forgot where I left off.
You know
Dilly-do!
what they say about the end of podcasts?